disagreement against the National Democratic Congress and its leadership at the time. But we all know that we have been able to effectively regroup in the midst of all that, and we have won power.
Of them, but he rose to become the national chairman and win power for the NDC with the highest margin that we have witnessed. The 2016 was the highest margin that we have witnessed in elections. Okay. The NDC never disowned their leadership.
All right.
And when we talk about leadership, I don't say if you are consulting people, it is out of place for leadership.
Okay. All right, Abusia, you move be akwaba na yem for Brameke TV and platform with ESO. Ora ye friend Hamza Suhini, a communications team member at the NDC Amanyukuru. Sansona Haruna Muhammad Enso a Deputy General Secretary at the NPP Amanyukuru. Now, Marco Clash a Good Morning Ghana show so. In fact, a kaki to be and NDC a Hamza no and ka Disgraced a Yura. Haruna Muhammad or MPP Deputy General Secretary ni nani se on leadership Yura Dr. Muhammad Bawumia the impact or edimo MPP no in the election that ahead and the election that just passed, that is previous election 2024, any the election ahead of them. Adusia how impactful and I say how obetimi abuamomo aji akondwana as a Ghana presidency and the economic management team now a vice president na yura John Mahama so bra no a vice president abusia me pese meka se be yenko na yenkotie nkobodidi e wo Metro TV Good Morning Ghana shows Brana Moro the host meso se bra conversation e so no o document betum na wa like dwumdi na wa share na afoforo enye bia hanom your number one authentic platform Mega TV guso ese the best of news yempese beka se bebe yenko na yenkotie nsa ni bi yakoba yebeto aso
other side of the political divide. Moro,
yeah,
I do not think that what the General Secretary sought to convey was the fact that people have started running ahead of time.
Right.
Clearly not. As leaders, you must be seen to be proactive in your respective roles. And I think that that is exactly what he did. He is simply trying to be proactive to caution against a situation where people who are interested in the presidency will begin to run ahead of time.
Right.
And I think that you simply cannot fault the General Secretary for throwing out that caution. It does not mean that people have started doing so, because I am on the ground, I move and I travel around, and to be very honest with you, I have not seen any such thing on the ground as far as those who are interested in the presidency of our republic is concerned, or being flag bearers of our party. So I think that it is a general caution thrown out, and it is proper. Okay. He is not the first person to have thrown out that caution. The national chairman, I think some few weeks ago, also had cause to caution that there's a need for us to at least calm down, largely because of the polls that was done by Musa Dankwa.
Yeah.
So it is not coming from the National Democratic Congress. I think people are simply formulating ideas as to who is likely to be flag bearer after John Dramani Mahama. That cannot be the cross of the National Democratic Congress. We are focused on our mandate that was given to us in the last election, and His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and his appointees are committed to delivering as far as these promises are concerned. And we have indicated times without number that we will not be stampeded in any way when it comes to our resolve to ensure that we leave a legacy that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama would be proud of, and the National Democratic Congress would be proud of as a political party. So that is our focus. But Moro, with your permission, I was listening to my brother make statements to the situation in which they find themselves as a political party. And the rationale behind the caution that people should stop campaigning. Clearly, you don't need an angel to tell you that the likes of Kennedy Ajapong and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia have started their campaigns already in the New Patriotic Party. It is clear. But you see, I think that what is affecting the NPP today, I have reduced it down to about 3 fundamental things. Lack of confidence, incompetence, and lack of leadership. Moro, many of our NPP brothers and sisters out there have no confidence whatsoever in the current crop of leadership of the New Patriotic Party. And I'm pretty much convinced that my brother would agree with me. Because for many of them, their last defeat was occasioned by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and ably supported by the attitudes of national executive officers of the New Patriotic Party. And I think that on this very platform, I have had cause to say that if the NPP is actually in need of revolution or of change, there's the need for them to look at their national party head office and inject some level of sanity into their operations so that at least Ghanaians can begin to take them serious again. You simply do not start your opposition on another foot of incompetence when that was your Achilles heel in government. And why do I say so? Moro, you have just gone into an election. You have lost the election. You have a flag bearer. Allow the flag bearer the needed time and support to embark on his thank you tour so that all of you could have seized that opportunity to begin your rebuilding efforts. But what did they do? They decided to prune down the influence of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia by saying that for the first time, oh, the flag bearer is not the one going to lead the thank you tour, and all people who are interested or whoever contested for flag bearership should come and be part of the trade. What didn't we see as a result of that poor decision? Because many of them were simply interested in cutting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to size. So that is the level of, that is the lack of confidence I'm talking about. Because even the party people don't have the confidence. And when it comes to their decisions, problematic. There's the need for them to look at that. Again, when the leadership lacks confidence and you have a flag bearer who is able to manifest leadership, is able to complement for the shortfalls of the National Executive Committee. We've all seen it. We had challenges after Jerry Rawlings. President Mills was effective in stepping in to provide leadership for the National Democratic Congress at that critical moment. Same with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, even after we lost the 2016 general election. Moro, mostly when you lose an election, your party hierarchy would be in disarray. You need a strong leader, someone with proven leadership abilities. President John Dramani Mahama stepped in, even though he had lost an election, and provided that leadership to the National Democratic Congress when it mattered the most. And it was based on that leadership that he provided that the party rode on and made significant changes at the top in terms of our party structure that eventually culminated in our victory in the last election. Today, unfortunately for the New Patriotic Party, we all know that when it comes to strong leadership, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is lacking. So even though the party is suffering, there seems to be lack of confidence in their operations. His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not able to make up for that shortfall.
But he's not the leader of the party.
You see, that is the mistake you are making.
The national chairman of the party is the leader of the party.
Moro. We all have de facto
So what do you
leaders.
expect him to do?
Moro, we have de facto leaders. President Mahama per our constitution after the election was not the leader of our party.
He may not,
President Mills, President Mills after the election was not the leader of our party. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo after his defeat in the 2008 general election was not the leader of the party, but he took charge, he led. Because you see, we know it's part of your governance ethics.
Yes.
You know that after every election, the party becomes truly vulnerable. So you all must find a pillar to rally around. And at that point, because the party hierarchy itself has lost confidence, the only person with some semblance of integrity and love is your flag bearer. You rally around him. But if your flag bearer is a weak person, lacks leadership abilities, then you are in trouble. And that is the state the NPP finds itself.
You don't think that look, if Bawumia decides to take charge of the NDC as you're advocating, the party will roast him.
So again,
the party will roast him.
That is
because the party has a leader.
Did the party roast Nana Danko Akufo-Addo? Did the party roast John Dramani Mahama? Did the party roast President Mills? Tell me more. They led. You see, when you are elected as a flag bearer, don't downplay the significance of this thing. You know.
Look, when the party decided to support his thank you tour,
no,
there were people who.
It's not even that we are supporting. I would respond to all the matters.
You know, there's a question I want to ask Hamza. There were people who said the thank you tour was actually a platform for him to even market himself, to sort of steal the show ahead of time. You remember that?
Those comments always come.
Okay.
But was it Dr. Bawumia who was on the ballot paper, or Ken Oforiatta, or Kennedy Ajapong, who was on the ballot paper?
So you still stand by your position?
So in actual sense, who's supposed to be doing thank you to? Who did Ghanaians you to vote for or vote against? Was it Kennedy Ajapong?
So you stand by your position that he should take charge and lead the party?
You see, I'm not saying take charge. I'm saying provide leadership.
Okay.
Provide leadership. And you see, you cannot expect Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to provide that leadership because he doesn't have it. Today, if you take Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, what names are you going to mention around him? With some semblance of weight when it comes to the politics of the NPP. Is it the likes of my brother, Dr. Alolo, or my own brother, Akbar?
But as Fred
These are the faces.
You are allowing him to attack the integrity of individuals.
No, I'm just
you cannot question the competence of Alolo.
No, you cannot.
He's asking if they are the people. He's questioning their competence around the man.
I'll give you a chance.
Anyway, you give me the chance to respond.
I'll give you the chance.
I think you're talking about what?
I'm talking
weight, political weight.
That's the point. Exactly. First of all,
I talked about the fact that there's
let me quickly respond to this.
There's Fred Owari, there's Nana Komia.
Aruna, I think that first of all, I am not attacking the integrity of anybody.
Yes.
And if you understand the meaning of the word integrity, you would agree with me that indeed what I sought to do was not to attack their integrity, far from it. Secondly, I am not questioning their competence. I am evaluating their political weight. Even me, Hamza Sohini seated here, cannot begin to exaggerate the kind of influence I have when it comes to the politics of the National Democratic Congress. I know my limits. And I'm simply telling you that a flag bearer must demonstrate some level of political control or influence. He doesn't have it because he lacks that leadership. And we all saw it even in his role as vice president. And these are the questions we need to be asking ourselves. And you especially, as a political party, whether indeed Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia actually has what it takes to lead the new patriotic party, because we have seen the leadership history of that political party. And where I'm seated, I am convinced without doubt that His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia lacks what it takes to provide leadership for the new patriotic party, let alone the risk of giving him the mandate of leading this country in the future. And these are things you should be concerned about as a political party.
Thank you very much. I wish we did not get here because you are talking about a matter that you absolutely does not have enough information on. The decision to go for a national thank you tour was a decision of National Council. And that decision was that the flag bearer in that election was the face of the thank you tour. So it is not about a conjecture that why should people debate as to whether he should lead or he was on the ballot paper. The decision was made emphatically by the National Council and communicated to the general public. In fact, the flag bearer made a request when the decision was made that we should invite persons who contested him in the primaries because none of them contested him in the 2024 elections. For party unity and cohesion, for us to move in UNISM, the National Party, took it upon itself and invited the other contestants to join. So it was not a conjecture, it was a decision of the National Party to go on the thank you tour with the face which was on the ballot, which is Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. I'm happy when he was making those particular statements with regards to leadership. In this country, it is only in the NDC that they have a founder. One founder. There is that history of how that founder has been treated within the NDC. At a point in time, he was called a barking dog. The founder lost confidence even in the leadership of the party at that point in time and had to use the Konongo Kaya and the Atamochiriman. The founder pointed out that the factors that was the foundation of the NDC, probity and accountability, was lacking, and that the current president was not a leader enough to lead the party. He said that they are corrupt to the extent that he doesn't believe they can still uphold the ideals of the NDC. We remember the President Jerry John Rawlings formed the NDC with his own blood. In the NPP, that is not it. We don't have one founder. But this is the way you treated your founder. He's talking about leadership, Muru. What is leadership? What is leadership? You are comparing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to President John Dramani Mahama. You know President Mahama wrote his book, My First Coup d'etat. He said in that book that as a leader or as a young man riding bicycle down the lane, he could not take a decision on his own. He could not. And it manifested when he was given the mandate to be the president for his first term. He had to appoint 3 wise men to guide him in taking decisions. Today, as president in the second term, as president, he promised us that he is going to appoint 60 ministers. Today, he has 56 ministers. Because of his indecisiveness, he could not complete the list at the stipulated time. Yes, I agree. He has a mandate of 4 years, but he gave us a period in which he should complete that. It is over 14 days. It is over 120 days. This indecisive man, who he is touting his leadership credentials, is not able to provide that. He's not able to accomplish that. Let me tell you who Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is. When it comes to leadership and the guidance in Ghanaian politics, Hamza would understand that Dr. Bawumia has no match when it comes to politicking and leadership in Ghanaian politics. Days when we were doing politics in Ghana, it was about going, singing, and he knows it. When you went to Sunyani the last time and we came back to Tamale, the songs you were singing was just O Sunyani, O Borade. When you went for horse whips in Koforidua, where Obed Asamoah and Co were whipped, Big Zidin and Co were whipped, you could really hear the debate of political platforms, of campaign of issues. It took Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to lead the charge and change the narrative in political activism in Ghana. You check his record at Bank of Ghana. You check his record as running mate to His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. You check his leadership in government as vice president. He changed the face of vice presidents in Ghana. The person you are touting today was a vice president. He was not fit enough to be made even a member of economic management team, not to talk of even chairing it. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was made to chair an economic management team. Count his contributions to governance. If a leadership role cannot be assigned to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, check his leadership role. When he assumed leadership as Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Look at his contribution. Look at the digital face. Look at the drone system. Look at the Ghana card. Look at the property address system. Look at the ambulance system that has been done. Look at his impact. A president who could not, under the face of Yabungura and co, pointing to him that they needed a region, he could not, in his bid to assist, could not, and his bid to insist, because he was vice president and he was assisting, not insisting. As president, he was insisting, he could not. A vice president in Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia led the charge, spoke to his boss. A constitutional matter was put up. A referendum was done. Today, John Mahama can boast of coming from a region on its own, under the strong leadership of Dr. Alhaj Mahmoud Bawumia. You see, your ideals of attacking this gentleman would not survive. Your first role was that he was going to be used and dumped. That was what your party and government then had said. That you live to see that the day that NPP will make him a flag bearer, and we as Northerners would not be respected in the NPP. That was your comment. Lo and behold, on the 4th of November, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia won with over 61% of the delegates' votes to become the flag bearer of the party. You went ahead again to attack him with all manner of commentaries. Today, you are saying that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia lacks leadership. I am happy you corrected him that in our party, a former flag bearer and a flag bearer or a sitting president is not the leader of the party. And when you are discussing matters you have absolutely no full knowledge of, you have to be careful as to how you address those matters. The MPP will always be the MPP. There is no any contention in the MPP with regards to leadership. Okay. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is leading the face of the thank you tour. Today, they are in Brussels. They are attending to International Democrat Union meeting where the MPP is hugely represented and the vice chairman for that particular union is coming from Ghana. And one of the ideals and patrons of that particular union is also coming from Ghana. When that is done, we will continue the thank you tour, and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will continue to be the face of the thank you tour. He was the one on the ballot. On the issue of the matter that I was saying, he was like, if you are describing people around him and saying they cannot have control or they cannot exert leadership or even advice, and you are mentioning these young men, you should have been proud of seeing these northern guys around His Excellency the Vice President. I am the least to attack my colleague young people from the north, aspiring and going higher and taking leadership role. We should stop these particular condemnations. I can't call it envy, but I must say that it is not appropriate in its right sense to make such commentary. You don't know the leadership roles that they are taking up. Perhaps they are not the face of the man, but they work for the man, and we must respect their roles within that particular spectrum.
Did you say in your submission that because President Mills did not trust the capacity and the ability of President John Mahama when he was vice president to even make him the chair of the management, the National Management Economic Team? Did you say that in your?
I said he was not the economic management team member, not to talk of the chair.
Okay, it's not true.
Why is it not true?
Yeah, I have a letter here.
Which letter?
Okay. So the letter is dated 23rd November 2010. And it's Office of the President, the Castle, Osu, Accra. Yes. There's even a telephone number. Back in the day.
Don't worry, just read it.
Yes. Okay, so it says that, dear sir, appointment as member of the Economic Management Team, EMT. And it says, pursuant to Article 77.2 and as part of steps to enhance the work of Cabinet, it has pleased His Excellency the President to appoint you as the member of the Economic Management Team with effect from 1st June 2010. 2. The Economic Management Team will be chaired by His Excellency the Vice President, and he gives us a list of the persons who are there. And they said it's anticipated that the EMT will meet at least once a month. It is the hope of His Excellency the President that given your rich experience, you contribute your quota for the effective discharge of the EMT's responsibilities. Please accept the congratulations of His Excellency the President. Yours sincerely, J.K. Bebako Mensa, Secretary to the President.
This letter was challenged because I am not here with this particular discussions. You know, these discussions have come up several times.
Yes.
And this letter has been quoted, which has been challenged.
By who?
On several platforms, members of the NDC.
They said they don't know this
you
letter.
say that he's been made the chairman of the Economic Management Team.
That's what the letter says.
Is it an Economic Management Team?
Yes, EMT, yes.
No.
It says the Economic Management Team, EMT. I can show it to you.
No, I'm telling you that. look at the nature of the letter. This letter has been challenged on several occasions.
That it is
and then Professor Mills did not become president in 2010.
He became president in 2009. Yes.
And EMTs that has not been formed after a year of the.
So is the argument the timing of the letter or the fact that he was never the
when
chair
he
of the
came in
2009,
which were the members of the Economic Management Team? Get that one and let the public also know.
Yeah, but I'm saying that.
No, when he came in 2009,
yes,
who were the members of the Economic Management Team?
Well, it's a fair question, but
yes.
I'm just saying that when you say flatly that the president was never at the time, John Mahama was never.
I'm saying
made,
that there was no that confidence because you come in with somebody that you have campaigned with. You come in as a 2009, the person cannot.
So the issue now is the timing.
Team.
The timing of when he was made the chairman of the Economic Management Team.
There is clear evidence that when they came into government, he was not made the chairman of the Economic Management Team.
Or
I don't trust it. I don't unless I verify the source of the letter.
Oh, I don't know.
I cannot trust the letter because this letter has been challenged on several platforms. You have read it. If he has been made a member or a chairman of the Economic Management Team at a particular point in time, my point still is valid that he was not.
Why wasn't he
made?
He was not, the
yes.
EMT changed in 2009?
Yes, so I have to even verify the letter because this letter has been challenged on several instances.
But if you make the comments that why wasn't he made a chairman of the EMT in 2009, for me, it suggests logically that you believe that he was made chairman in 2010. Your only issue is why not?
I'm only making that statement based on what you have read because I don't have the benefit of Hamza to verify that particular letter.
Okay.
Moro.
Okay, that's fine.
Moro, you see,
Hamza,
briefly.
Yeah, so that we can move on.
That has always been the problem with the New Patriotic Party.
Yes.
Their unwillingness to listen to wise counsel. I listened to the tangential attempts by my brother to force the NDC into the equation. Look, undoubtedly the NDC has a founder and is recognized in our constitution. But you know, as a matter of fact, that even the founder did not always have his way as far as our internal practices were concerned. It is because of the level of leadership that he provided that made people politically independent to be able to exercise their views on internal happenings of the National Democratic Congress. We do not have any issue with that. Yes, President Rawlings, may his soul rest in peace, said all kinds of things in his disagreement against the National Democratic Congress and its leadership at the time. But we all know that we have been able to effectively regroup in the midst of all that, and we have won power. That is what a political party that listens to the people, that's what they do. They regroup, make amends, and win power. And thankfully, through his leadership, he unconsciously and consciously trained so many people to manifest leadership abilities. And the likes of John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, undoubtedly were part of those that were groomed by the National Democratic Congress. So we are proud of that legacy. And then, yes, we are happy that we as a political party have a founder. What I am simply telling you is free counsel, free consultancy to you as a political party. That, my brother, where you have gotten to, you are faced with a leader who lacks leadership qualities. Irrespective of the issues I may have about Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I know that Nana Addo was a strong leader. I cannot deny that, despite the excesses of his leadership. But I'm telling you that when it comes to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he does not have it. He does not have it, and he doesn't provide that leadership.
But this is the same. You were the same people who criticized Nana Akufo-Addo
for
being a weak leader. I don't know what our position is.
No, we never said. We said that he was an autocratic leader.
Autocratic leader.
We never said he was a weak leader.
But it depends on who you're talking
about.
But
you see, that is the point I'm making.
Okay.
I'm telling you that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia does not have what it takes to lead the party. And I have made references to my brothers around him. Not because I don't think that they are doing well in their own respective endeavors. But in politics, perception matters a lot. You can imagine, if I happen to be the most important pillar around President John Dramani Mahama in opposition, Moro, when they are senior players, big players, who are major stakeholders of the National Democratic Congress. So you people must take this wise counsel and work with it for the benefit of our democracy. I could have decided to allow this matter to go, but I am somebody who is committed to the principles of our constitution, and I believe in the power of democracy and the competent opposition party to keep this government in check when it comes to delivering the mandate that we've been given by the good people of this country. So, my brother, it's not out of malice. It is sincere suggestion to you to appreciate that, look, there's a shortfall. And unfortunately, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia cannot be the one in his current state to complement your efforts as a political party. That is, even some of you, if some of you are willing to give him the opportunity to lead. So I do not intend it as malice. But you see, he spoke about His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. I think that the jury is out there. People know when it comes to democracy. Democracy is not about taking decisions alone. It is about listening to people. So if you sit in this chair and reference a page in President Mahama's book, My First Coup d'etat, where he makes the point that he always believes in taking decisions together with other people, and you tag that as a weakness, it's a manifestation of the kind of leadership you guys provided the good people of this country and Nana Addo, and why you emboldened Nana Addo to embark on that autocratic journey that eventually led to your humiliating defeat in the last election. Because democracy is about building consensus. So if you have a leader saying that he believes in that, that leader should be hailed. Today, it is that consensus building President Mahama championed in opposition that repositions the National Democratic Congress and granted us this victory. It is that consensus building that President Mahama led as opposition leader that ensured, Moro, that today we are holding people to account. As far as their roles in government is concerned, was concerned. Then you see, another important thing about consultation is that it gives you an opportunity for you to present policies that are nationalistic in character and endearing to the good people of the country. You lacked that. So we would not apologize for it. We would take pride in the fact that we have a leader who understood and still understand the essence of consultation. And Aruna, it is not a minus. The NPP must take a cue from it. I can understand your situation now because you've had a situation, you have had a system where you were led by a man who was not willing to listen to you for 16 good years. So I'm sure you have become used to that and you are thinking that it must be a one-man show. But for us in the National Democratic Congress, it's consultative. For us in our constitution, democracy is about consulting one another. But even in doing so, you must provide leadership. And the NPP must begin to listen.
Okay.
And what we have demonstrated today on this table is subtle communication to your party supporters out there.
Okay.
That indeed there's the need for them to wipe the slate clean when it comes to the National Executive Committee positions. Because you have failed them as national executives. They entrusted their mandate in you. They wanted you to win them power. You have not been able to deliver that.
Okay.
So you must be making amends, my brother. You must be making changes. It is in your own interest to make those changes.
Okay.
If indeed you want to remain relevant in our body politics.
Moro, on that note, he's calling for changes. I don't know whether he has reflected over the period when the NDC lost power in 2016.
Okay.
I will not fault him. I don't know whether you've had very close relationship with Inus Afuseni before.
I worked closely with him.
Very closely with him. At the time, you were very close with Inus Afuseni, where you were not the most important person in Commander Central. So you should not align such conversation around when people are around a certain person. They are the most important persons around them.
Optics matters.
Yes, no, but I'm just citing. You were not. People didn't even know. You get the point. You had played your politics in a manner that people would not pinpoint to.
Because I was behind the scenes.
Yes, you were behind the scenes and you were with him. And you were not the most important person.
Yes.
And that is why Alolo and Co, they are behind the scenes.
No, they are not.
Did you see them champion certain causes?
They are not. They are not.
Yes. Again, he's talking about. He's talking about.
My brother Dennis.
He's talking about. Dennis has been a political person on himself. He has been a DCE for Akropong. He later became an appointee of Akufo-Addo's government for the local government sector. Okay. So he's not.
But the names I have mentioned are all appointed. We're all appointees.
He's talking about wiping. If he had reflected over what he has said, I think that he wouldn't have made that statement. When you lost elections in 2016, you didn't go and wipe your executives. The current national chairman was the general secretary at that time. I cannot recount the other executives who were part of them, but he rose to become the national chairman and win power for the NDC with the highest margin that we have witnessed. The 2016 was the highest margin that we have witnessed in elections. Okay. The NDC never disowned their leadership.
All right.
And when we talk about leadership, I don't say if you are consulting people, it is out of place for leadership.
Okay.
But the point I cleared to make is that the man himself agrees that he cannot take a decision on his own.
Okay.
And taking a decision and leading is part of leadership.
All right.
And he himself have agreed on a book that is published in his name that he cannot take a decision. It is not wrong for him to consult because you need people to win. But in terms of leadership, you lack it. Bagbin had said, the current speaker, has said that Mahama's government was an animal farm administration and that he lacked leadership. Does it mean that John Mahama, per what he said, lacked leadership? You can always make your conversation, and when you do it, it doesn't mean that it's sacrosanct. But I can tell you that Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia is a leader on his own. Okay. And I believe that he has the qualities to be a leader.
Well, so I guess that we'd have to draw the curtain on this. But let me just say that we have had some inputs from Neelante van der Poel. Now, we all know Neelante van der Poel's relationship with the former president. May he so rest in peace. I'm talking about Professor John Evans Mills. We know that he's been his director of operations for a very long time. Even when the president won elections, he worked closely with him as a staffer and again continued as director of operations. So he sent us a message in relation to the conversation we're having, because you wanted to know, for instance, why John Mahama was not made the EMT chair in 2009. So he sent a response to that. You know?
Yeah, I would have done the research on it as I sit here, but I decided to overlook it.
That's fine. So he says,
several conversations.
So he says, "Good morning, Moro. Please respectfully ask that MPP guy if he was in Ghana when JM was vice president. I was a presidential staffer under President Mills. Vice President Mahama was head of the economic management team. He should stop spewing his ignorance." And he continues to say, "The president initially decided to head it himself because he had done that even during the transition. Don't forget that he was a tax lawyer and had a fair idea of the difficulties we had inherited from the NPP. You would also recall that he took quite a long time to fully construct the government, he decided to have an informal team with people like Ishmael Yamsing, Kadman, and that's Dr. Kadman Mills, and others in the earlier months before settling down with the team under the vice president. And so that's Neil Antivanderpoel's explanation as to why he wasn't made an EMT chair from the get-go, from 2009.
Who was not made. So he agrees with me that John Mahama was not made from the get-go.
Right. Yes, it was.
And it was not economic management team. It was a different name.
It wasn't an EMT.
Yes, it wasn't an EMT from the beginning.
Just a second. Let me read this. Let me read this briefly. And then Elvis Ifri Ankara has also sent a message. Now he says that, what is the gentleman talking about? Singing and dancing, it comes with, a number of question marks. Has he forgotten the awkward and embarrassing offbeat dancing skills he was exhibiting during the last campaign? And he wants Annie to get some of those videos and play it for our viewers to see. Always, this wasn't actually meant to be our main conversation for the day. It was just by the by, but we would see if we would do that. So these are the two, states, how do you call it, messages that have come in relation to the conversation we're having.
The issue had to do with His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama being head of the economic management team.
Yeah.
It has been proven that my brother lied on this table. And indeed, President John Mills had confidence in President John Dramani Mahama.
He said he doesn't believe the authenticity of the letter.
Can I land?
Okay, let him finish. I'll come in because I decided to sweep it on the carpet. I'm coming back.
He's not in doubt. He's not in doubt. Secondly, is it just about being head of the economic management team today? On this table, he has agreed that His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia indeed led and headed the economic management team of the Nanado-led administration. What is the record of that management? Were they not running away from that same record policies that he presided over as chairman of the EMT during the campaign? What has been the result of that leadership Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia provided this country as far as the economic front is concerned? Are you talking about the unacceptable debt margins of over 721 billion that was left? Are you talking about his decision to preside over the domestic debt exchange program that has impoverished so many Ghanaians and led to the death of so many of our compatriots? Is that what you are talking about? Is that what you are proud about? Are you talking about the introduction of e-levy, emissions levy, COVID levy, and the likes? Is that what you are proud of? Come on. So when I talk about the lack of leadership abilities of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, it's grounded in facts. It's not just conjecture, because the record is still fresh on our minds. So when it comes to even the economic front, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia represents the face of economic failure. And when it comes to the political front, he's a constant reminder of how one is not qualified to be a leader. And you are talking about political leadership qualities of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Look at his political trajectory. He's been at the center since the 90s, even before Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia decided to resign from Bank of Ghana to join politics. You cannot compare the two of them. It's like comparing apples and oranges. And for those of us in the National Democratic Congress, President John Dramani Mahama represents an important bridge of the past and modern day Ghana, and for that matter, National Democratic Congress politics. That is why his role is important to us. Because he was not only a minister or deputy minister under the SWAL administration, under President John Rawlings, he also featured prominently right after. So he is that bridge, he constitutes that bridge when it comes to our political history of this country.
Okay.
So you cannot compare the two of them, Moro.
All right.
It is important for you to appreciate that.
We're not going to spend
why will you compare the two of them when you go to the north? His contribution to the northern part of Ghana and the contribution of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is unmatched.
Okay.
And Moro, you've gone back. You've gone back.
Debate. Let him.
I don't fear debate. I don't fear debate.
You said I've gone back to.
For me, that is my field.
I've gone back to what?
Yes, you went back to talk about the economic man. Yes. I am telling you that it did not start with the economic management team.
Right.
And the person you read who Mama Ayaraga was the first.
Yes, he was the information minister.
Yes.
In fact, he was the spokesperson.
Yes, he was the
spokesperson under President.
Yeah, he was the first. Yes.
Yes.
And when the letter he signed,
yes,
it was Economic Advisory Council. He was not part of it. Dr. Kabin Nankani.
In 2009.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But we've established that he wasn't.
I've also established that he was not.
Yes.
And Dr. Kabin Nankani was the chairman of the committee.
Of that advisory committee.
Of that advisory committee.
Yes. But when it was made,
and he was the vice president.
Okay.
Right? Mm. His role did not change.
I can provide you the context.
My brother, please. I like debate. So if you like, we can call a debate. We can get all these things. We can organize the debate at Police Park in Tamale. People will listen to us. I've never run away from debate. So yes, I've stated that point. And those sending in the text message should have made those references to that.
It's fine. So you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. I'm here with Haruna Mohammed, who is a Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, and also Hamza Suini is a lawyer and also a member of the NDC's communications team. Please stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
NPP for we know they be ami kase omono suban omuwom de ye mamu elusu elections no sa ahomaso yenka medie oye de me ma wonka oye se me ma wonye se no that kind of suban no ena party no ene ese party no se suban no ena enama party no inti min gina ne nan so inti so hwe thank you to no kra na mo kan ho asem sisi no it is very 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 difficult say MPP beat me akọ thank you to no. Yes, even when they continue it won't be like first now mo shasia na all hands are joined together na obie can be oh thank you to ene say na ngidin bio ebe very unpopular because of your honorable Kennedy Japan one din enim MPP yenhwe ya in 10 years to come no party ni ebegu funfunam party ni ebegu. Yes, party ni begu because enima bi e was omoye enima bi was omudi gugu akwan mu things that they should do no they are not doing it and omo communicators and so enya kwanya na mo kwatena TV so instead of them to humble themselves and tell the Ghanaian populace say de bia no Ghana foyi bomo ayekwanya se enye wo yentimi o ayesremu ada yesina babio because any day ya political party dey be contest for elections bomo ayekwanya bio na yesremu se akwanya na mudi be maye no enye the wasteful akwanya than what we witnessed in the last 8 years any some months be atwamu no what us instead of them to say all these sugar-coated words saying this thing no they would rather putting dust on our faces. They rather throw dust on our faces instead of them to convince us, instead of them to tell us the reasons why we should vote for them again. Because they say me decide this and to buy in the next election. That's I said the NDC is why would I go and vote for MPP? I have no reasons to vote for MPP because omo opposition, omo new policy papa biadma. Even when they have policy, omo ba comes omo NDC for aka, they are doing it. What in me point in I say NDC for the monka omo ye. They didn't tell us in their campaign. No, go and check. If an NDC forecast say they will stabilize the dollar or they will make sure the dollar will come down when they assume their power. Go and check. Go check it. Go check it. None of their promises and cancer. Mumfa ncheme muti dede bi wa mumfa ncheme me nkora no na ase anopo mu kondo so mbiso ti mumu nsu kakra. You see, it is the timer I was NPP as amanyuko ehu se omu edi Ghana fo abro. It is the timer I was MPP as a political party now. They have to sit down and restructure themselves and tell Ghanaians say, hey, Ghana for you. Bro. Hey, Ghana for you. We had the opportunity to develop this country. But because of our own bad leadership, we refused. Because of our own bad records, because of our own bad people, we refused to do that. Enti Ghana for Mumfanche. At the NDC for you, $1 for me. They did never say it in their campaign, any of their campaign messages or their campaign promises. But it is now working. Dr. Bawumia, Eddie Kufado shared that. Even a Kufado shared that catch Ghana for say because of the dollar rate, into our Bawumia dinapa mebuana. He said it in 2016. He said it in 2012. That was their strongest campaign message in this country. But because of say Chenka, you be bina zo kofa nipa we ba say me be ya from na makofa the person mesi so me MC. Na say MC no the person mesi bana wantumi anya MC no ya. Hey masa you be disappointed o. It said ya wako wedding no mama aduane ni bi. Na wako boka omo machine sika bia na otua bi. Aduane cheduru ho a omo say wodi enso so. It is very, very annoying and disappointing. It is a Ghana for you know the money to so say, wait there, with risky number, economic desire. It is a share anymore. Say over way a bit me a job minus through his economic management, his economic tactics, his economic skills, his economic talent. I will see. Where talent I was in a Shimbiaka. Kuvado can say when you know, I'm in a Miko. Emma Bawumia Kasa be confirm me. Sampa, he is the Messiah. He can arrest the dollar and give the keys to upon board that was upon board who was the IGP. Upon board who was the IGP. He will arrest the dollar and give the keys to IGP. And then make sure the dollar suffers in jail. Abusianfo omo kan say we they made all these comments. What did we see? Maybe sir, what did we see? It tells you that this crop of leadership called NPP, this political party called NPP can never be trusted, can never and ever be trusted, and can never lead this country to progression. And NDC for Boyjuma, and it will shock you say from next week almost, and your man so better titi, nobody be a titi, can fool almost a swati, can light bomb so swati, can goods and services almost swati, can a lorry fare, Kesika almost swati. Next week, you're ready, never could be a titi, from next week almost, but titi, $1 almost swati. NPP for meaning the reason why I'm saying Casabu. I didn't so making clearly say I know dollar na short dollar na is in an NDC for NDC for na for. Okay, I know more. I didn't have to go to some to me be. Okay, almost dollar trade. Meanwhile, I'm to some more the shares say a Russian Ukraine war and a Russian Ukraine war. And this NPP for didn't throw a brother. We didn't throw up. NDC for you. NPP for you do one on the tongue Ghana. Me see ye di NPP for magro on beton Ghana. Kofi Juma is a one. Ni didn't cry the same. Maso Kofi Juma, Saquano. Give up for my C1. Or you pump bonus to me G40,000 a week. Send me the go for weekends. Hey! I didn't want to father couldn't tell us a father one. You see, sometimes mama yenyede mama who say people you know the level of corruption they engaged in no. In fact, any can say mom get closer to even omofa Jubilee House ni mu hokro omofa ho enka mpeso ma ka say oh sisi aban asesa enti he Bawumia we ni kwaso si Jubilee House wo bio the career see Bawumia you don't need him at Jubilee House again. Maybe a pen and so on train fee. So beko wale on kotenase. So beko he for so be the on kotenase no didi no onda. Nobody needs him at the Jubilee House. Oko hono mo bibia ira akufana. Akufado do bibi to us akufana. Ene wo akufado. Obi amoni dimbio. Obebo akufado di dimboni. Akukura no sometimes I mean bilimino. Onu so yeni oyena fomu die. But people surrounded him no. People who were surrounded him no. Omonso contribute a lot to his defeat, to his failure. Akufo-Addo as a president was doing amazing work. But Nkufobi to say Accra Hanekote, Nkufobi to say Asante Bedi to Gabi Asarochere Dako, Kenu Forata, the gurus, they were surrounded by him, and what made him fail woefully. When NPP for some these are the crop of people. They are also surrounded by Bawumia. Until whenever Bawumia gains power, they will show their face. Yes, Ogoro Yasina baby yeba. Abe so mine. Ye be disika. Ye be tutuska petin. At NDC for nobody will let NPP this. And NPP mo flag banner. I just want the ever pack in the mudi pe yaba kini de bia na Ghana fo hu mobo no makase yewra kini de wo se bi nnuma wo Ghana ha de wo se ayewi ni nti no ye mo no so emetra the best so decide ha Bawumia mo forget it. Bawumia ba presidential next presidential election Bawumia betumi enya not less than 30%. I'm telling you, this is the facts. It Bawumia they forget it. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Enti adene de nkofo madi oman na bro omo se oman no omo se oman no MPP for we disika MPP mi sorry say me di 20,000 ato me kam me di kodi mutu ombre kwa Ghana ha obi nya just fa blessing so timi di ye adwuma otimi di business successful na MP mo wa 20,000 then time na yisika mu duro enne kura masa nyi sika keto 20,000 hwe enne 20,000 nyi sika keto 5,000 kwa nyi sika keto enne 2,000 nyi sika keto especially when the city is gaining its strength. Is it a sika keto masa na kwabnane ya tam de ato de kamu kwabnane ya tam de ato kamutu te odikodi mutu ni etu bi bo ahye foto. You see, these are the things we again in here was alternate now dream with some way they came to destroy, to steal and what loot. After that then they kill some of us and go for business said do bongo num UT Bank, is it UT Bank? I stand to be correct. See do bongo num ya papa papa we didn't cry they say papa ko see doom National Bank, GN Bank, Ghana National Bank. You see, they killed a lot of businesses in this country. They killed a lot of businesses in this country. Their pension allowance. I mean, they looking for that now. So National Cathedral, movie sika said the Akufo-Addo the bottom sika we na Ghana sika. What the hell? What the hell? It is sad. It is really sad. It is really sad. Yeah. It is uncomfortable, you know. They need not to come closer to power. Any question who move baby as or bring Ghana kunyano because they are virus. They are virus. They are computer virus. They are computer virus. They need not to come closer to the power, to the presidency because especially Kino Forata. Me see me said about life. Kino forata baby will be obeba. Kino forata. I will come live and kino forata baby will be also ba. He show up and tell us baby odi gane sika koshe. Kino forata. I will come alive and hunt him. Kino forata baby will be obeba. Yemfa unsi. Eti sanity. Happy people, you should forget 2028 election. We, especially when NDC is fixing the dollar CD rate. Boy, I was so kind for strong. She said, "We check for no more $70 bands or more issue. Yes, send it back to a mamaza. One no mamenka as a mentor. Who breachina yo yas dollar nickel for mamasa. Money no ya. The issue here is say Modisi can buy. Na say even first kwa no send it $10. Na send it. Give so send it $20. At first no send it $10. The buyer. Idea was what the turn around. Kitwe be but the kitwe be na $10 na sa. We assume assume $100 na sa. But then $80 na kosoro. I mean the dollar na ho dia ba for nti mo hono mo be nya more dollars to to get more CDC. It will send it be $200. Obeba no na niema na first na wo kase ne boy din no. How you because of your seed na so I din no. I mean emu edu nti no matete so. It $200 no. E betimi dey ato niema bebre even crowd ubesinya mfaso. That is the difference. That is the difference. That is the normal difference. I mean the thing na ntimi so wo brochi ame ma bumfu. Omunya tete niema so asa. Ode wo send ya de send the bia na send bra. Odi send ba $100 send bra. We ba na niema na so tete. Ni par betimi apekisi enya kakra to no. Nyankopɔ hyira makro bibia. Me ma me ke ba fo Nyankopɔ hyira ma me ye bi Nyankopɔ hyira. Bye bye.